In this section, we'll continue the review of tools and techniques for schedule development. The next technique is called resource leveling. This is also known as the resource-based method. It's used when resources are limited or time-constrained and when specific schedule dates need to be met. It's used also when initial schedules have periods of time with more activities than resources to work on them. Resources will typically show up as overallocated, and underallocated resources can be assigned multiple tasks to get them to 100% allocation. Resource leveling attempts to smooth out the resource assignments. It allocates resources to critical path tasks first, and you have several options here. You can delay the start of a task to match the availability of the resource. You can adjust the schedule assignments so more tasks are given to underallocated resources. You can increase the working hours of resources, that is, overtime, or you could split the activity into even smaller increments and spread them across the team. Resource leveling typically results in an extended project end date. Another technique is reverse resource allocation scheduling. This is used when key resources are required at a specific point in the project, or if only one resource is available to perform certain activities. It requires the resources to be scheduled in reverse order, that is, from the end date of the project rather than the beginning. There are several variations of the critical chain method, but typically they all account for limited or restricted resources when modifying the project schedule. It schedules high-risk tasks early to identify and fix problems sooner, and it allows for combining several tasks into one task when one resource is assigned to all of them. It uses a deterministic, step-by-step, and probabilistic approach. These steps would include constructing the schedule network diagram using activity duration estimates, defining dependencies, defining constraints, calculating the critical path, and entering resource availability into the schedule. Project management software is the software that automates the mathematical calculations. For example, a forward or backward pass in your schedule. It also automates the resource leveling functions. It'll typically print the schedule, and it ranges from the simple to the complex in terms of the tool and its functionality. Another technique you should know about is applying calendars. There are two types of calendars that you should memorize. One is project calendars, and the other is resource calendars. Project calendars concern all of the resources involved in the project, and it specifies the working periods for those resources. Resource calendars look at a particular resource or group of resources and their availability. The last technique I'll talk about in this section is the adjusting of leads and lags. Lags delay successor activities, and they require time added either to the start date or to the finish date of the activity being scheduled. Leads require time to be subtracted from the start date or the finish date of the activity. In the next section, I'll continue with tools and techniques of schedule development.